Now, here it goes on. It's all about his identity from here on in. But as it goes, like his big point, what else is there to be after president? His identity is there. The difficulty is it was very self-centered Gemini factor. Geminis have trouble being socially conscious in politics. They see the ideas, they see what's smart, and they see other stuff stupid, and they're just going to make their own moves, but they don't usually wait for consensus. So his strength in his own identity, his confidence, the Leo ascendant buying up his sun in Gemini, he's just sure that he's real and that what he wants is what everybody wants. Unfortunately, he does represent sort of white upper class viewpoint, and it's certainly at a time when he got there, there wasn't anybody competing with him really. So like that, he probably didn't even expect to get there, but he's got there. The difficulty in his chart with his Mars and Pluto, well, he has to live up to it, and it's still within, like now it's moved on a few degrees past the ascendant, so it's come out of that critical time he got there. Now his identity is there. He's seeing himself as president. When he's no longer president, that'll be the lull after the storm. The soul's power empowered his identity and built it way up. But the soul is sitting back there, not being way up. It's been the way up and the way down. So after he's been president, when he's not president, where does he fit in? He'd still be walking around like he's president, even if he's not, in some small environment that he would be in. So, but that was the energy that pulled it in to do it. Now, just two more. Now, Carl Jung is interesting because he has the Aquarius rising, the sun is in Leo. And even if you take 90 degrees, he didn't live that long, but his sun, he would have to be 120 before his sun would hit the midheaven, the unequal houses. So he wouldn't, his sun never got to the midheaven. It got from the seventh house. Seventh house, relationships and consulting, Leo, Virgo. And his ascendant said the cusp is at 25 degrees, so you're talking 25 degrees, and sun's at 3 and 27, so 40, 52 degrees. At 52, it went into the 8th house of more the psychology, the in-depth, and he lived just till he got up here. Didn't even get up to, he got up just close to Jupiter. I don't know if he quite got there, but anyways, his sun, but never got to his midheaven in his life. So even though he was building up status and position all his life, and as he was doing that, he still, towards the end, he built a tower. He was going to live in his tower, and he lived in it. But his career built up, and his fame increased after he died and built up. After he died, his power increased after him. But he didn't have that crisis of going across an angle that most people do have. Sigmund 22 never got over his, it got up to, but not quite, never came up to his midheaven. Almost. Again, seventh house, builds up, he's moving to build up status, to improve the position, build up psychotherapy, build up his understanding of relationships. Seventh house, to see the chart. Seventh house, he's working on, that's responding to others and understanding how people respond, is taking even the Freudian slip to find out where someone's coming from. The moon in Gemini, the 8th house, you can see that. His progressed sun will go up through that status. Now, across his life, he had his 4 or 5 kids. He lived in more or less the same area all his time. So he was very consistent, but he still had this steady build up of building up how to build the psychotherapy concept up into practice, into a field of science, into something that would be respected out in the world. In some ways, he was more foundational than Jung. Jung is is considered a little bit more extreme or radical. But the main point here is it doesn't go up over the angle. So his incentive is he's got to move up to that, and he's got to try and build things up so that even after he dies, there's more influence there. I think that's as far as I'm going to take this. Yeah, that's today's class. That's a good run at it. That's a fairly good run at it. And so next week, so we see the timings and the basic timings. Next week, we're going to go into the I Ching hexagrams to see how we can find metaphors and relevance, other meanings behind these timings, so we can begin to think of the implications of them and tune into other energies around it, which at times can be very, very useful. Okay, thanks. Bye, that's it for tonight.